Hi everybody, welcome to the 4 to 5. We should go down the line. Sydney, Eric, Tim, and Julie with you today.
Hey there, hello,
Yes.
how are you?
Happy Friday.
Yes.
We made it.
Or
It's nice
Friday.
to be inside.
Better to
And
be
the
in
air
here than out there,
conditioning.
Tim Buckley.
I think so.
Yes.
He keeps on chugging along, doesn't it?
Yes. No tie, and there is a reason.
That's
yes.
right.
You know, we are going to
Use
be
it as an
talking about
excuse.
more about the heat, absolutely. But first, we have to talk about Carowinds, because we have new details about the Carowinds roller coaster ride that's been closed for a month now. The North Carolina Department of Labor says inspectors may have found a second crack on the Fury 325. That ride shut down weeks ago after somebody spotted a crack on a support beam.
And while the state confirmed a possible second crack, officials did not say how bad it was, where it was found, or if it will affect the integrity of the ride. For the last couple of weeks, officials have been inspecting the ride and testing it.
Carowinds issued this statement. During such reviews, it is not uncommon to discover slight weld indications in various locations of a steel superstructure. It's important to note that these indications do not compromise the structural integrity or safety of the ride. It's unclear when Carowinds' tallest and fastest ride will reopen.
And we do want to update you on the heat, which does of course continue. We all know this, but putting some numbers to it is pretty helpful. So remember, yesterday we got that hottest day of the year so far at 94 degrees. Current temperature is 94. Let me show you. And remember, when we look at this map, I'm showing you the current temperature, the real temperature, and also the feels like, which today is really high. Winston-Salem, you feel like 101. Burlington feels like 102. Reidsville feels like 105. And that is the worst that it has been all week. Why is it worse? The temperature's the same. This is the difference. It is more humid today than it has been all week. And I really think you can feel the difference today. That air is just thicker, steamier, soupier, and it does make it harder for your body to cool down. When you sweat, it only cools you off if that sweat evaporates off of your skin, and it can't do it very well when it's this humid outside. We are looking at the radar. Haven't noticed hardly any storms in our area. We had a little sprinkle in northeast Guilford County. No big deal. There was a huge thunderstorm in Wilkes County that has now started to fizzle out. We're going to keep an eye on the radar the next few hours because there still could be a couple of storms for today, but I think the storm chance tomorrow really is going up. We'll take a look at your Saturday evening. That could be a little busy at times with a couple of downpours from time to time. Tomorrow, I have our high at 93 degrees for Saturday. Good chance of some scattered storms there. And then for Sunday, we're looking at a little cooler, 90 for the high, just a low chance of a storm there. And actually, next week's forecast looking better. We'll have the 7-day coming up in a couple more minutes.
A little cooler? We will take it. Well, today is not the day you want to lose power or your air conditioning, but that is what happened this morning in one part of Greensboro.
Yeah, a crash tore down a utility pole on Randleman Road, knocking out power to hundreds of homes and businesses for much of the morning. WFMY News 2's Amber Lake is live in Greensboro. Amber, the outage coupled with the dangerous heat made it a rough day for some neighbors in that area.
Right, Sydney, it truly did. Thankfully, Duke Energy said all power should be restored in this area. But early this morning, it was a completely different story. About 600 people, over 600 people, were without power for hours. And you can see behind me, this area of Randleman Road is still closed off as crews try to clean up this area. I talked to one person who had to work around all of this today. She explained to me what her and her family of 6 did all day to stay cool.
It is a hot day right now. Me and my kids, we just staying cool in the house. Me and my 13-year-old, we had walked to Dollar Tree to get some waters and stuff like that to stay cool. And being in that sun for that short amount of period, I was hot.
Greensboro Police and Duke Energy were on scene all day repairing the damage and investigating the crash. Duke Energy says all power again should be restored by now. While out here today, we saw everyone involved in the cleanup process drinking plenty of water and making sure they find shade when possible. Now, the neighbor that we talked to said she's been in her home and she went and got some waters, but she also kept her windows open while the power was out. It sounds a little crazy, but let me explain. The HVAC tech that we talked to today said that actually helps your home stay cool if your AC isn't working or if the power is out. So again, make sure that you pull up those windows so the air can follow through. Live in Greensboro and hot in Greensboro, Amber Lake, WFMY News 2.
Yes, Amber is correct. Very hot out there. We spotted a lot of families trying to beat the heat at the water park today. Wet and Wild Emerald Point in Greensboro, they've made some changes to protect people from the heat. They've actually added sprinklers to help keep the concrete cool, and they're allowing park goers to bring water bottles. They even have EMTs on standby for any heat-related emergency.
So really just staying more alert, staying on top of it, and if we see anything to kind of check on that person, pull them aside, offer them, a cup of water, make sure that they've had a little snack throughout the day and that they're getting some shade.
And Macaulay says they've also scheduled some extra staff and trained them on the signs of heat-related injuries.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. The Chicks concert in Greensboro this weekend is being pushed back. It was set for this Sunday. Just in the last half an hour, the country music group posted that 3 concerts are being rescheduled due to an illness. The concert at the Greensboro Coliseum will now take place on August 8th instead of this weekend. 2 performances in Tennessee were also postponed. The Chicks say all original tickets will be honored. The update we were expecting today about the soon-to-open migrant facility in Greensboro will have to wait for another day. County leaders say the meeting with federal officials to discuss the Greensboro Piedmont Academy has been canceled, but a reason or a makeup date wasn't given. The feds were supposed to give an update on the Hobbs Road facility that will temporarily house teens who cross the southern border alone. The facility is set to open sometime next month.
Fall semester at UNC Greensboro is quickly approaching. Today we spotted the first students moving into their dorms, and move-ins will continue through next week. Students can take advantage of the school's Stop, Drop, and Roll, where they can sign up for a time slot to drop off their items and set up rooms. Officials say you should expect traffic in and around the campus on Gate City Boulevard.
Time is running out for parents and guardians to request bus stops for their kids in Winston-Salem Forsyth County schools. The deadline for the upcoming school year is tonight. If you do not sign up, your child might not get a bus stop until September 11th after the school year starts. You can find the form on the school district's website. If your child attends Guilford County schools, the bus stop request deadline has already passed. If you missed it, requests will be processed in September.
So we're only weeks away, of course, from getting the kids back into the classrooms, and the fine folks at Goodwill Industries of Northwest North Carolina, they have us covered here. Now that may not be the first place you think of for school supplies, but you could be shocked at what you'll find.
Most of what you'll find in our stores is clothing, but people do also donate things like storage containers and drawers, book bags, lunch bags, laptop bags, even furniture like desks that would be appropriate for an office. So those are all things that you can find in our stores. Recently in a store, I found an entire bin of calculators that had been donated. So you can find a lot of electronics as well that are handy when you're shopping for back to school season.
Sarah Butler there says that you can find everything from notebooks and pencils to pens and paper, all at a fraction of the normal cost, and some are brand new, not used. In fact, most are. But some of the best savings come from the back to school clothes, especially if you're shopping for jeans.
This year, we're having our annual Back to School Blues jeans sale from August 4th through August 13th. And that's when all of our regularly priced jeans in our retail stores and outlet stores are buy one, get one free. And normally our adult jeans are priced at $4.99 and children's and infants jeans are $1.99, $2.99. So with buy one, get one free, you can get 2 pair of jeans for $5, or if you're shopping for kids, 2 pair of jeans for $3. It's an incredible deal for parents who are shopping for back to school clothes.
Also, by the way, teachers or any educators, they can get 50% off all books that they get donated there. That's from July 30th all the way through the end of August. So
what a
incredible
deal.
deals.
Oh,
so,
wow.
And you think like, oh, well, Goodwill is all used, but that like pens, paper, all that, sometimes people just donate that to them. They have stacks of notebook paper and pens and pencils and pencil boxes, remember when you were a kid, all brand new.
And they do have some good clothes that are in good condition, as well too. And when you're talking about that deal, that's just really, really hard to beat, especially when you're just kind of on the day-to-day grind as a teacher. You just kind of just need to grab just anything you can grab. So I think it's a great deal.
And usually the quality of denim, like jeans, those things last forever, right?
Yes.
And we saw some of the brand names like a Levi's jeans. I just bought some and they were not $5.
Yeah, right.
So let me tell you, that is an absolutely great deal. School supplies too. Remember the Trapper Keeper?
I loved my Trapper
Maybe
Keepers.
we could find one at Goodwill.
All right, I'm going right now. We'll be right back.
Well, grab those bathing suits and swimming trunks. It is National Water Park Day.
Yes, a perfect way to cool off in a day like today, and really all summer long. Water parks can be a staple for your family vacation, and there's so many to choose from all across the U.S. In fact, nearly every state has a water park.
Right here in Greensboro, you can check out Wet n Wild at Emerald Point. They have a variety of attractions from the lazy river to the all-new water slide experiences in the Bermuda Triangle and one of the largest wave pools in the country, Thunder Bay.
All right, so I asked you on Facebook to pick your poison here. Do you like to ride the rides or the slides or relax on the lazy river? Dwayne says lazy river for the most part, but an occasionally ride down the slide into the lazy river. That's not too bad. Brenda says lazy river. I can't do the slides anymore with my health. Sure enjoy that lazy river nap though. Kelly posted, I used to love the slides, but now they give me anxiety, so I'm more of a lazy river person. Sylvia says she's a stay home in the AC kind of person. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. And Rick said, is waiting in a swimming pool an option? Could be. Majority of the viewers say they definitely would do the lazy river over the big rides.
Okay.
Yeah, I am a big fan of lazy rivers. I've gone to plenty of them growing up, but I couldn't do the slide, especially with the hot weather, unless they let you ride on the little floaty things and then go down on the slide like that. But lazy rivers are a great experience.
I think most of their slides are at Wet n Wild are just you, not the little mat thing that some people ride on.
I'm going to choose not the slide because the slide, you know, bathing suits can move.
Yes, thank you.
And you are in a public place.
I don't want to malfunction here.
He's laughing
No,
at me.
it's true.
You know what I'm talking about.
You're right. You're right. Totally.
And you know,
I did this live.
We like to keep things PG around
I
here.
did it live on TV when I worked in Myrtle Beach. The most embarrassing moment of my life, live coming off the slide at the bottom of that thing.
No.
That's all I'll say.
Ooh,
Really?
There's video of this thing.
Well, thank God social media wasn't around back then, but yes.
Good thing YouTube wasn't there.
Yeah.
All
Tim,
right.
lazy river or slide?
I think lazy river should be relaxing, and I don't think it's relaxing with all those people around. So if I'm going to the park, I'm going to be doing the thrills. I like a thrill. If I want to be relaxed, I'll go to the beach or the pool.
My dad would agree with you.
I don't like a lot of people.
Yeah, because you kind of bump into people
I'm real
every now and then
antisocial,
sometimes.
you know.
Well, also,
You're like, I'm only gonna ride the lazy river when no one's in there.
They're closing it down just for you, TV.
I love kids, but it's
yeah, it's a bit, it can be a bit much. It can be. It's true.
not that lazy.
You're gonna get yourself in trouble.
We'll take a break. We'll be
Break,
right back.
break.
Tim's a great guy. It's just too hot out there, isn't it? Out and about today, around the middle part of the day, and I thought, yeah, that's enough. I'll come back inside. Look at these readings. 94 in Greensboro and Winston-Salem. High points instrumentation showing up at 98. Now that might be, we'll have to check that, but that is exactly what it's sending us. 94 in Burlington and Asheboro, 95 in Reedsville. You get the idea. Now when you factor in the humidity, it feels like 101 in Winston-Salem, 104 in Lexington, even 100 in Siler City. In Burlington, it feels like 102, Reedsville 105. Those are not actual temperatures, but what it feels like to the human body with that temperature and humidity calculation there. 74, that'll be the overnight low tonight. Can't rule out an isolated storm already. Seeing a little bit of that in our mountain communities. And then 93 for tomorrow. We stay in the 90s for several days, and we're keeping our fingers crossed. We think by next week we can get back to normal. Here's what the radar looks like now, and most of it is back up in our northwest community. So from Morganton and then over just north of Hickory, heading to Taylorsville, that's where most of that has been. North Wilkesboro, though, had a fairly heavy shower about 30 minutes ago to an hour, and still lingering with some light showers out there. If you go out to the bigger picture here, generally unsettled. There was that disturbance off the coast there. Now that's moving in to the coastal sections of Georgia and South Carolina and around Wilmington as well. But something that we'll pay attention to. I don't think really that's going to play a major role with us, but let's go with at least we have that 40% chance of a late day shower or storm on Saturday. That's better. 30% on Sunday, but 93 Saturday, 90 on Sunday. Back to the mid to upper 80s will feel great for most of next week.
We are all trying to stay cool these days, but are your methods really getting the job done? Brandon Lewis from our National Verify team looks into how to stay cool without breaking the bank.
The dog days of summer are here, and so too are high utility bills. Many Verify viewers reached out with questions about ways they've heard to beat the heat. So we looked into whether they actually work. First up, will closing your blinds help keep your home cooler? So let's verify. Our sources are the U.S. Department of Energy and Lowe's. When sunlight hits double-pane windows with the blinds open, the DOE says about 76% of it turns into heat. You can help lower that number by closing the blinds. Lowe's recommends using a white blind or shade because it will help deflect more heat. The DOE says the exact percentage saved also depends on the material of your blinds. For example, an insulated shade could reduce unwanted heat by up to 60%, while using just a white curtain will help reduce the heat by a third. So, yes, closing your blinds will help keep your home cooler. All right, next up is a question I frequently ask myself when heading to work. Does turning off the AC at home when I leave for the day save money? Admittedly, the answer to this question has a lot of variables, like where you live and how hot it is outside. Generally, our energy experts recommend leaving the air on during the day. Just turn it up a few degrees. Duke Energy explains you'll use less energy keeping your home at a modest temperature throughout the day, rather than blasting the AC when you get home to try and cool the house. Nebraska's Southwest Public Power District notes turning off your AC could cause your refrigerator to work extra hard to keep food cold, which would negate any savings from turning off the air. Plus, humidity levels may increase, leading to mold, mildew, and causing damage to electronics. So, no, in general, turning off the AC when leaving for the day does not save money. This brings us to our final question about staying cool. So, let's verify. Is there a right temperature to maximize savings? The DOE and Energy Star say setting the AC to 78 degrees is the ideal temperature to maximize savings when you're home. This is about 10% cheaper than setting it at 74 degrees. If you live in an especially warm area, then HVAC technicians recommend setting your AC 20 degrees cooler than the outdoor temperature to avoid straining your air conditioning. So, yes, there is a right temperature to maximize savings. We hope these tips help save you a bit of money this summer.
And Puerto Rican superstar Bad Bunny is one of the biggest names in music. What makes the global icon unique is how his songs raise awareness about socioeconomic issues in a way that makes his fans want to learn more.
Astrid Martinez reports on his influence from the concert stage to the classroom.
Global phenomenon Bad Bunny, born Benito Martinez Ocasio, is known for using reggaeton as a medium for social change. When the superstar opened this year's Grammys, where his album Un Verano Sin Ti made history as the first Spanish-language album up for the top prize, he intentionally chose to showcase his beloved Puerto Rico to a U.S. audience.
He did it in a very Puerto Rican way. He has the cabezudos, which are the people with the really big heads, right, that come from a Puerto Rican festival.
The musician has been the most streamed Spotify artist in the world for the past 3 years. He had the highest grossing world tour in 2022.
As his star has ascended, he's talked more and more about Puerto Rico.
Of his success, Associate Professor at Wellesley College, Petra Rivera Rideau, is offering a course studying the impact of his work. The video for his 2022 song El Apagón includes a 20-minute documentary on gentrification and the U.S. territory's lagging infrastructure.
Because he talks about them in his songs and because he's such a phenomenon, a lot of my students are very interested in learning about these issues, whether or not it impacts them personally.
As Bad Bunny's influence continues to soar, Rivera Rideau expects her class to gain popularity. Astrid Martinez, CBS News, New York.
Okay, so that's pretty interesting. I know he's super popular. I want to know though, what celebrity or artist or whomever actor would you like to kind of sit down with for an hour that you feel like you could learn a lot from?
Okay, so my idol growing up was Johnny Carson, so he would probably be number one on my list, but I have hundreds others that I would love. Michael Jackson and Prince, especially Prince. He would be high on my list, but I would have to say those two probably.
Here's the thing about this. It's a great way to learn because kids seem to be more impactful, or they can learn more if it's fun and if they, excuse me, can relate.
Right.
And so in a situation like this, and you heard the woman say, a lot of the people who are in the chorus are younger people. So they're getting people younger, college age, teens, whatever it may be, getting them interested and excited to learn. I'm all for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't have a favorite artist because there's so many that I love and listen to their music and look up to, but I do love artists who are vulnerable and talk about things that they have went to, and it really allows their viewers to, learn more about them in a whole different way, and especially through music or shows or whatever it is. I love the vulnerability.
Billie Eilish, I think about, that kind of like
yes, and that
welcome
soft,
inside. Yep.
that tone.
Very cool. All right, we're gonna take a break. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
That's our 4 to 5 dance music, club music.
Yes.
Club 4 to 5.
It is very catchy, you know? Go Julie.
Welcome back, welcome back. You know, I always think the beginning of each half hour when we introduce ourselves, or I say it for everybody, it's like the Mickey Mouse Club. You know, it's like we all need to run up and be like, Sydney, Eric, Tim, Julie.
That's right.
Felt like a cheerleading move right there. Sorry.
Yeah, you did
Going way
it.
back.
You did it. You brought it back.
Well,
all right, go ahead.
No. So well, welcome to your 4 to 5. Thank y'all for joining us. I do have a confession to make because I know we're about to go right into weather and give it away to you.
What you gotta
I
say?
made a terrible mistake, Tim. I mean,
Okay.
it's just absolutely terrible, and I just realized that I turned off my air conditioning early this morning, and guess what? I forgot to turn it back on.
What?
So I'm gonna go home. I know. I just realized it, and I'm
Of all the days.
panicking in the inside.
Okay, I do need to know why you turned it off in the first place.
Because I had it super low overnight, and I woke up very,
cold.
very cold, you know, and I turned it off, and now I'm like, wow,
no.
I'm gonna go home to a
Well,
rude awakening. So
That is going to be a surprise later on.
big mistake,
Please
right?
do a video of you walking in the door and just.
Oh, I should.
Yeah.
We're
and
gonna
then
give you a dinner
the
break
beads
here.
of sweat coming down.
Yes.
But the other question is, when it gets to that point, do you tend to turn off your AC or do you just crank it up? I just will move the dial up as opposed to
Yeah.
just like turning it off.
Yeah,
I leave it on all the time. We never turn ours on and off.
Sydney, next time, don't turn off.
There we go.
Just
Yes,
up a
mental
little.
note.
I'm gonna remember your voice in my head.
Well, this will be a lesson for you here. It is hot outside, if y'all didn't know. We've been talking about it all week, haven't we? Oh, yes. That's the way it goes. In fact, you've probably been talking about it too. No matter where you go in the Triad, everyone's talking about the heat. And the 4 to 5. That's what they tell me. They say, we love the 4 to 5. 94 for Greensboro, Burlington, Raleigh. That's the current temperature. But you look at the numbers, a little hotter than that, right? That's the feels like temperature. And that is a real condition that we have to deal with when it's humid outside. The triple digit number there is what it feels like. It's right around 100, 102 currently. Because of this, our dew point temperatures right now are in the low 70s across much of the area. That's more humid than it has been throughout the rest of the week. So yesterday was just as hot as today, but it wasn't as humid. So we had an easier time cooling off. If you're out and about for longer today, you're going to have a real tough time staying cool for sure. Now the radar does have some action on it. Most of this week it has been bone dry. Right now I don't have anything in our counties to tell you about, but that could change at any minute. Just be ready for a storm to pop up once in a while because we're starting to see some of those in Iredell County, for example, farther to the north of Martinsville, Virginia. This just tells me that, yeah, we could have a couple popping up as we go into your Friday evening. So be alert. And if you get one, it cools you off, at least briefly a little bit. Taking a look at your Saturday, the morning is dry, guaranteed, but as we get toward the end of the day, take a look at that. Right around the evening hours, dinner time too, there could be some nasty thunderstorms that that move our way, I should say. One or two could have a damaging wind gust. Sunday, slightly lower storm chance, but we will still have a couple roaming around the area. It'll be right around 90. Next week looking cooler. We'll talk about the 7-day in a bit.
Well, Tim's right. It's that dreaded summer combo of heat and humidity. Much of the country is sweating it out today as unrelenting heat settles over the Midwest and the East Coast for that matter, and there's still more to endure.
Millions of Americans are feeling the intense heat.
They're happy to be here, happy to be in the water, cooling down.
60% of the country's population is under a heat advisory or flood watcher warning, according to the National Weather Service.
Look at all the heat alerts across the eastern portion of the country. A large piece of real estate covered by this.
People are finding some shade.
I don't stay out of the shade much.
Some water.
Really hot, but the water helps.
Or perhaps a good book.
We are seeing quite a bit of an uptick for folks coming in.
It's so hot in Wisconsin, the cows need cooling.
And we also use soakers where the cows stand and eat.
The East Coast isn't expecting relief until Sunday. New York City officials are urging residents to conserve energy by keeping that thermostat at 78 degrees and not to open the fire hydrants.
You can go to any fire department in the city and you can get spray caps that you can then place, and that reduces the amount of water that's coming out, but you can also then have some spray to keep cool.
Out west, these runners from Chandler High School in Arizona lace up before the sun rises.
With the heat, practicing after school when it's 110 degrees, you just can't get the quality we need to get ready for the races.
buses are being used as cooling centers in Phoenix. The high temperature there may finally fall below 110 degrees for the first time in a month next week. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. The FDA says Trader Joe's is recalling nearly 11,000 cases of its broccoli cheddar soup. Health officials say insects were found in 20-ounce packages. The soup that were shipped to the 7 states are right here on your screen. So far, no reports have been made in North Carolina.
The Mega Millions jackpot keeps on growing ahead of tonight's drawing. It's now at $940 million. The game has now gone 28 consecutive drawings without a big winner. The last big winner was back in April. The drawing is at 11 o'clock tonight. If nobody wins, the jackpot is expected to pass the $1 billion mark. The second time a lottery jackpot has hit that high this month.
Anheuser-Busch is laying off hundreds of workers as it grapples with slumping sales of Bud Light. The former best-selling beer in the U.S. took a big hit after a marketing campaign with trans rights activist and TikTok star Dylan Mulvaney sparked calls for a boycott from conservatives. The company later attempts to distance itself from the ad campaign also led to backlash from the LGBTQ community. Anheuser-Busch says the cuts will most likely affect corporate employers.
The 2023 Emmy Awards will not air in September as originally planned, as strikes by Hollywood writers and actors continue. According to Variety, the award show could be postponed until January. As part of the SAG-AFTRA strike, actors can't appear at the ceremony or campaign for Emmy Awards or take part in auditions or rehearsals. With the writers on strike, there would be no opening monologue for the host or introductions written for the presenters. This is the first time the Emmys has been postponed in more than 20 years.
A week or two ago, we talked about this potentially happening and how stations like CBS would be adjusting to shows in the fall not happening. Now, the one creative way CBS is filling the void is by airing Yellowstone, starting with season 1.
It's a really good idea because a lot of people do not stream. And Yellowstone is such the buzz. So I'm kind of guilty of this. My husband has streamed all of it, has gone all through the seasons. And so I'm obviously way behind because I haven't even started. So this can give me a good opportunity to start from the beginning and then obviously catch up.
That's a good
I'm just going to tell you, they're going to have to do some editing. Because like for regular network television, they're going to have to, do some different. It's a little racy for that, but a great series. But networks have to deal with that more. Like streaming services, they have thousands of things out there anyway.
I know.
Networks have to produce these things, and when the writer's strike happened, they got to fill that time.
Right. Yeah, and streaming services, are just so popular. So popular as well too. But hearing about the Emmy Awards, something that is so popular, definitely feels so different with it not with it being postponed, but obviously understanding all of it surrounding it. So.
Yeah, as it all plays out with those strikes.
Well, many Americans are getting ready to take a summer vacation, and some are scrambling to get their passport in time. The State Department is still digging out from processing backlog that started during the pandemic, but now some members of Congress are stepping in to help.
This trip was everything to us.
About a year ago, Connie Rayner and Vicki Heller booked the European cruise of a lifetime with 81 family members and friends. But coordinating logistics for a battalion of buddies was easy compared to renewing their passports.
When did you guys actually get your passports? 3 days after our ship left.
Both women mailed in their applications perilously close to the stated 13-week turnaround time. Realizing the documents might not make it, they requested expedited processing. But 5 days before departure, still no passports.
We contacted the Congressman's office, said, what can you do for us?
Right, if my member of Congress can't get this done, then who can, right?
Exactly.
They're not alone. Across the nation, panicked passportless passengers are reaching out to lawmakers.
This is a basic governmental job.
Oklahoma Republican Senator James Lankford says his office has had to assign 3 full-time staff members to passport duty.
Is this the number one issue you're hearing from constituents right now?
Yeah, I have about 250 open cases right now in my office. The painful part is they don't know what's happening to it. When you stick it in the mail, you don't know where it is.
Langford is proposing new legislation he says would help tackle the backlog, including better online tracking, allowing the State Department to surge staff from other departments, and expanding the number of in-person appointments. The State Department says it's already working to improve the process.
This is going to be turning of a dial a little bit, not exactly flipping a switch.
But any potential improvements will come too late for many Americans who've already missed the boat. Or in this case, the cruise liner.
Do not make payments. Do not book that trip until you have that passport in hand.
Next year, Americans visiting European Union countries will need additional authorization on top of their passport. Starting in 2024, an electronic screening will also be required. So
I think my passport is expired. I'm not positive, but I think it has.
It's something you should look at because obviously there needs to be a lot of planning that goes into something like this, and obviously too, with any kind of backlog, any kind of delays, you don't want to be like, okay, here we go.
No.
No, you're not.
Isn't it? It's months, right?
Yep,
I mean, it's going to
months.
take you months and months to get that.
So go home, take a look at it.
I need to.
But this is one of those things that it makes you realize, like, I do need to take like one dedicated day to get my real ID. I haven't done that yet.
Gotta do that.
It is my time to get my passport renewed and also my driver's license. So I should just like take a day off and just boom, boom,
That's
boom.
right, knock
get
it all out.
done.
And taking your time to make sure that you have all of the, like you're saying, all of the documents that you need as well too, because you can get into a situation where you show up and you forget certain things. So just making sure that you have all of that together to even help forward your process in a situation where it's already experiencing
So
those
now you're
delays.
requiring me to be organized.
That
That's what you're
is
saying.
exactly what I'm saying.
And not only that, you have to get that right picture for the passport. Ooh,
That's right.
pressure.
Because you ought to see my old one.
Really?
Yeah, no, not good.
Nope.
Not good.
Okay, time to change
My
it.
evil twin Derek. That's not me. All right, we'll be right
Derek
back.
and Eric.
That's right.
Who's that back there in the booth? Is that Bradley? Bradley, we're mic checking. Let's get this.
A young Triad athlete is going for gold. Next week, the 9-year-old is heading to Iowa to compete in the AAU Junior Olympics.
Wow, well, he spoke to WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey about the accomplishment and the work he's been putting in to bring home the gold for the 2nd year in a row.
Last summer, Cameron Crouch won the 8 and under gold medal for the shot put right down the road on the campus of North Carolina A&T. Now, at the age of 9, young Cam is on his way to Iowa to try to defend his crown as the best shot putter in his age group.
If you're going to be good at shot put, you need 2 things. You better have great form and be strong as an ox.
Get low and don't back up and take a step forward. Throw my arm up and then pull around when I'm throwing and bend my knees.
And 9-year-old Cameron Crouch from Thomasville checks both of those boxes. Although Cam is only 9 years old, he already has some pretty big dreams.
Become another All-American.
You want to be All-American? High school? College?
Yes.
Not only is he looking towards his future in track and field, his resume is already pretty impressive.
Cam was national champion in the JO, so, you know, the pressure's on for him, and he feels it, and he's ready, but he definitely surprised me coming out on top like that.
Just a few days from beginning his national title defense, Cam and Coach Taylor are ready to bring home the gold once again.
Cam is definitely very competitive. I love that about him. I love his, he's a fighter. He's a comedian. Lord, he's a comedian. But he just has a will to win, and I like that because that's how I've always been in my sport. So.
And Cam is headed to Des Moines this weekend because competition at this year's AAU Junior Olympics begins on Monday.
I love how his coach said that he's very competitive. You can tell by his face and his demeanor that he is nothing to mess with.
Right,
okay?
and not only that, I mean, he's just not with track and field. He does other sports as well.
He does other sports as well. He's very big into football. He's getting ready for the upcoming football season as well. Just an athlete all around. Great young man, great attitude. I love the way that, as Sydney said, he's very, very competitive. He would draw a line in the sand at the beginning of practice, and if he doesn't get his mark, you could see it on his face that he does not approve.
And he was focused on you because you attempted a few, right?
I did, and I kept scratching.
Put him on the spot.
I kept falling out the circle. It's a lot tougher than I thought it was.
And what did you say? Scratch.
Scratch every time. Scratch. Scratch.
It goes
9 years old.
That is difficult. That movement too.
It's very tough, but he's got a very bright and promising future for sure.
Yes.
Well, good luck.
Good luck, Cam.
We'll be back. Studies show Black Americans are 4 times more likely to develop kidney failure than white Americans. Health experts say a lack of awareness and underrepresentation in clinical trials are contributing factors. Tomorrow, a group of Greensboro AME Zion churches are stepping up to host a kidney health screening and community health fair.
Black men are dying at the same rate that they are passing away from colon cancer. And Black females are dying at the same rate that they are dying from breast cancer. The percentage rate of kidney failure among Black Americans continue to rise.
The initiative is in partnership with Duke Hospital's Care and Justice Project. Organizers say the goal is to reduce health disparities and cultivate trust by dispelling myths and negative perceptions of clinical trials among people of color. But the event is open to everyone.
So we want to bring this information from the churches because our people trust our leaders. We trust our pastors and our leaders in the church. And it's great to hear from them that they are behind this, that they support this, that they are working with Duke Hospital to bring this right into the heart of the community.
Again, the Kidney Health Screening and Community Health Fair is tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at St. Philip AME Zion Church in Greensboro. You can find all the details on our website. And I'm just really happy to hear this. I love when churches kind of come together to help with communities inside of the community. And I really do hope folks take advantage of this type of opportunity. Ask all of the questions that you need to. But this is just a great way to, like they said, help with those health disparities that are exposed to in the community.
I hate the fact that that we have like racial disparities with health care. You know, it's racism is one thing, but now you're talking about health, right? Like, why we need to get that word out to every group.
Right.
Every group needs to have equal opportunity to explore their health and find out exactly what's going on.
And not only equal opportunity, but everybody, everyone, no matter what age you are, no matter what your nationality is, everybody needs to understand that preventative screenings and screenings are so very important, because it's so easy to say, you know what, that can't happen to me. I don't have any symptoms, so I don't have to worry about that. I've shared my colon cancer journey with you. I was diagnosed last year with stage 3. I had no symptoms, no family history, no risk factors, and I was diagnosed. Thank goodness I did get a preventative screening. So hopefully our message here and the message of this clinic happening is that, you know, everybody needs to be on top of their health.
That's right. We'll be right back.
Oh, I think we're going to talk about a forecast first. That's right. I almost forgot the weather. Let's not do that. Let's talk about it. It's hot out there, and we see some relief, but it may take us a while, okay? So just kind of get used to this, that we could see those at least low 90s through the weekend, we think. Next week, it's a different story. But 94 in the Triad right now, and in Charlotte, 96 in Raleigh. We've seen some showers in the mountain communities, so that's why Boone is a comfortable 76 right now. You look at satellite and radar, a lot of this developed in Wilkesboro and Wilkes County, right around that area. Now it's pushing to the south and to the east. Still, you could see a pop-up storm. Same story through the weekend, but 93 Saturday, 90 Sunday. How about next week? Looks nice. Tuesday, Wednesday, mid-80s, and we'll see partly cloudy skies as we head into the Wyndham week.
To say the least. Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Yes, he's gonna put it over his shoulder. We're just, yeah.
Hello, today's been the hottest day of the year. We just hit 95 in the Triad. It is hot.
Hey. It is a scorcher out there. Don't let the thermometer fool you, but it's in the 90s, folks.
Hi, Brett. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
It is time for my 2 cents. Today, we're going to talk about the heat, because who isn't talking about the heat? But more specifically, weird ways to cool down. Now, we all know the usual stuff. Drink lots of water, stay out of the sun, don't exert outside, stay in the shade, blah, blah, blah. But did you know this? And this is from various websites across the web. Mint. Eat mint, or some people put it in cold water and then drink it. Believe it or not, the natural menthol in mint stimulates cool receptors in our bodies. Who knew? Eat smaller meals. That's good for us in a lot of different ways, right? But digestion actually raises your body temperature, so smaller meals will keep you a little bit cooler. Now, my mother used to tell me this, and I didn't believe it, but I found it on several websites. Running cold water over your wrists, because those are called cool points on the body, and the blood flow is closer to the surface of the skin, and it will cool you off. How about this, ladies? If you wear a French braid, they say to embed ice cubes in the French braid and let them melt. I'm assuming when you're outside, probably not at work. That would be a mess. And then finally, the weirdest of all of them, ice vests. Apparently they're a thing. They are vests that you can fill with ice, wear it, button it up. They're about $60. Google it. It's a real thing. And if that doesn't cool your core down, I don't know what will. So there you go, ways to stay cool, and hopefully by next week we'll be back to normal and you won't have to wear your ice vest anymore.